Look at you, lazy, dramatic. You've wrecked our lives. You're a problem. Dad's voice snapped down the hallway like a belt. Block her cards, Mom muttered from the doorway. If she leaves, she doesn't come back. I smiled because as a child, anger never fed me. Silence did. My hands trembled so badly, I had to clutch the strap of my overnight bag, just to stop them from giving me away. There's a particular chill that moves in when your own home turns its lights against you. It tastes like metal on the tongue. Hi everyone. My name is Noelle Hart. I'm 26. I used to think love meant learning to sink into a smaller chair at a table that kept getting smaller. Tonight I'm learning what it means to stand. Dad's words hung in the air like a sentence. While the kitchen clock hammered seconds into my ribs, I tried to breathe without making a sound. The hallway reeked of floor polish and old fights. Mom crossed her arms, phone already in hand. The judge who decided the case before I'd said a word. I'm not your burden, I said, soft as a closed book. You are, Dad, he snapped. You drain. You distract. You disrupt. You're an expense. Expense? I used to be their pride. A roll call certificate stuck to the fridge like a medal. Somewhere between that and now, I became a line item that didn't add up. I slid the silver house key off my ring, the one with the tiny prom night scratch, and set it on the hall table. It looked small and brave. I whispered, I'll make it easy. Mom's eyes flashed. Don't come back. The front door sighed when I opened it, the porch light throwing a weak halo over the steps. The night smelled like wet asphalt and freshly cut grass from the neighbors. For a second I wanted to be 10 again, racing down this same path with skinned knees and a popsicle, not a chest full of thunder. Still, I stepped into the dark. My phone buzzed. Mom's texts don't come back. 2 more words arrived like salt and tea. We're serious. I typed slowly now, thumb steady. Okay, I just stopped paying your mortgage. Send. For a full heartbeat, the world held still. Then my phone blew up like a struck match. Dad calling, Mom calling, a cascade of messages tumbling so fast they blurred. Behind me, the house stood very still, a shadow with windows. I didn't look back because some doors, once shut, become mirrors that show you who you were always going to be once you walk through. The phone wouldn't stop shaking in my hand, buzzing against my palm like a trapped bee. Dad's name, Mom's name, the numbers I didn't know, neighbors, maybe, or cousins drafted in as reinforcements. They thought panic would pull me back, but instead an odd, icy calm wrapped itself around my spine. Answer it, Noelle, I whispered. Or don't let them sweat. I slid into my car, the leather seat sighed beneath me, the air still carrying the faint coconut lotion scent from earlier. I laid the phone face down on the passenger seat, its glow flashing against the dark interior like a warning beacon. For years I'd covered their mortgage. Every first of the month, without fail, I transferred the money. I told myself it was love. They called it duty. Now I saw it for what it was, a leash they never thought I'd slip out of. My chest rose and fell. The silence inside me was louder than their shouting. I pictured them reading my message, hands shaking, the floor tilting under them. For once, I wasn't the one trembling. They were. A new message slid across the screen. Don't play games. Put it back now. Another followed seconds later. You'll regret this. You need us more than we need you. I laughed, a broken sound between a sob and a victory cry. Need them? I was the roof over their heads, the reason their lights switched on, the reason the fridge hummed at night without me. Their kingdom of criticism had no foundation. I leaned back, fingers tracing the steering wheel, eyes on the quiet street ahead. Porch lights flickered in the distance, moths circling weak halos of gold. Inside the car, it felt like a confession booth, dark, tight, and smelling of truth. I whispered. For years I thought I was drowning them. Turns out I was the lifeboat. The phone vibrated again, harder now, as if urgency could pierce the glass. My screen filled with new words, harsher than before. Selfish brat. Ungrateful. We raised you. Beneath all of it, I heard the tiniest edge of panic. And panic, I realized, was just the first thread of their falling apart. Night pressed in around me, thick and endless, while my phone kept lighting up like something injured. Finally, I turned it face down and started scrolling. Message after message, each one cutting cleaner than the last. Dad, do you know what you've done? Mom, mortgage is due tomorrow. Fix this. Dad, again, we'll lose everything because of you. The irony almost made me laugh. Because of me? No, because of years spent dressing their cruelty up as parenting. I'd been keeping their house standing while they smothered me inside it. My chest tightened, but it wasn't fear, it was release. For the first time, their survival didn't sit on my shoulders. I drove with no plan, headlights tunneling through the dark. The engine's steady hum felt like a heartbeat I could finally trust. Between stoplights, I replayed every small betrayal that led here. Dad tearing up my college acceptance because community college is fine for a girl. Mom telling the neighbors I'd failed after she'd spent my savings to bail out her boutique. The Christmas I worked back-to-back shifts to buy presents, only to watch them rewrap my gifts and hand them to my sister. Each memory was a brick. Tonight I set them down. The phone rang. I let it. Then a voicemail alert popped up. Against my better judgment, I hit play. Dad's voice poured out, no longer roaring but breaking. No, you can't just leave like this. We can't afford it. Just come home. We'll talk. Talk. The word stung. Talking had never saved me. I pulled over at a red light, the city glow strobing the windshield. My reflection looked back, hollow-eyed but awake. I'm not your problem, I whispered into the quiet. And for the first time, I believed it. Still, a quiet question nagged. If they'd lived off me for years, what happens when it's gone? I didn't know yet, but I understood the unraveling was only beginning. Dawn smashed like glass across my windshield. I hadn't slept, just drifted between gas stations and empty streets watching the city wake. My phone near dead, but the messages kept coming. Mom, don't be cruel. You're punishing us for everything we gave you. Dad, we can't survive without this. You owe us. Even my sister texted, you're heartless. Mom's crying. Just fix it. Heartless. I mouthed the word like medicine. Was it heartless to finally stop bleeding for them? Or was it survival? I parked by the river, watching the water move slow and silver as the sun climbed. The air smelled of wet stone, cool and clean. Nothing like the suffocating rooms I'd left. I let the quiet settle while my phone finally died. When it woke on the charger, a flood of messages returned, but one voicemail stood out. Mom's voice, frayed and shaking. Noelle, please. The bank called this morning. They said the payment didn't go through. They're threatening foreclosure. Do you understand what you've done? Yes, I understood. I had stopped being their safety net, and now the ground under them showed cracks. I closed my eyes and listened to the gulls, wild, free, unclaimed, and for a moment I envied their wings. A short, sharp message from Dad pinged next. You'll regret this when we're out on the street. The word should have crushed me. Instead, something new rose in my chest. A defiance so steady it almost felt like peace. I typed slowly, each word chosen. I'm not your bank, not your lifeline. Figure it out yourselves. Sent. My thumb hovered afterward, waiting for guilt. Nothing came, only the river's sound, sunlight warming my face, and a cold realization deeper than any insult. They'd never loved me for me, only for what I gave. And now I had nothing left to give. By noon the storm shifted. Their rage softened into bargaining. Mom, we'll apologize if that's what you want. Dad, just send one more payment until we get back on our feet. My sister, please don't let them lose the house. You know they can't handle it. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering, then set the phone on the picnic table beside me. Around me kids chased pigeons, their laughter cut through the heaviness in my chest. I wanted that lightness, the kind of joy that never lived under my childhood roof. The house had never been a refuge. It was a stage where I played the lovely daughter, and applause was always replaced by criticism. Yet now they panicked at the thought of losing it, not for the walls or roof, but because without me their world would fall apart. I remember nights at the kitchen table, calculator open, balancing their bills while Dad watched sports and Mom shopped online. That memory burned, bitterness rising. Another ping. Dad again. If you love this family, you'll fix it. Love. They always twisted that word like a rope around my neck. If I loved them, I'd sacrifice. If I loved them, I'd obey. If I loved them, I'd pay. But maybe love wasn't supposed to cost my freedom. I pulled the phone close and typed, "Love isn't a transaction. You used me until I broke. I'm done." My finger hovered, heart pounding. Then click gone. For a moment the screen was still, as if even the universe held its breath. Then a cascade of furious replies, all caps, threats. They dressed up their anger like everything else. But beneath the mask I finally saw it. Fear. Not just of losing the house, of losing control. I leaned my back against the bench, the evening air cool on my neck, and murmured to myself, this isn't about revenge. It's release. Still, a darker thought pushed through, sharp as glass. If they wanted to watch what surviving looked like without me, maybe I'd give them the chance. By evening, my phone was a relentless drum. Every buzz shook me, but I let them ring. I sat in a corner booth at a quiet diner, the scent of coffee and fried onions hanging in the air. The waitress refilled my mug with a half smile that said she'd seen women on the brink before. The messages kept coming. My sister, please. Mom, a steady stream of tears. Dad, sleepless. Rumors that the bank might start proceedings next week. I let the coffee's bitterness spread across my tongue. They'd always use barbs as weapons, silence as a sentence, shame as shackles. This, though, was panic they couldn't hide. For 4 years I'd been their invisible glue. Noel the fixer, Noel the provider, Noel the scapegoat. Without me, their polished facade began to fracture. I opened one of Dad's newest texts. Don't make me come find you. You're still our responsibility. Don't forget that. The word stopped me. Responsibility. That was all I'd been reduced to. Property, not a daughter, not a person, something to manage, control, and bleed dry. My reflection in the diner window looked back. Hair a mess, eyes rimmed with exhaustion, but eyes that carried something else, a hard, glinting edge. I typed a single sentence and hit send. Your responsibility ended the day you called me a problem. Now the problem is yours. The 3 dots blinked, faded, blinked again, then nothing. For once they had no reply. The waitress laid the bill down gently. Everything okay, honey? I folded the receipt, slid cash beneath it, and forced a smile. Not yet, I breathed. But it will be outside. The night wrapped around me, cooler, quieter. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't check it. I knew the real storm hadn't even begun. The next morning I woke in a shabby motel with peeling wallpaper and an old AC's steady hum. My phone still vibrated, but slower now, like the dying embers of a fire. Messages scrolled. Mom, the bank officer came. They served us a notice. You can't do this to us. Dad, we'll be homeless because of you. Everyone will know what you did. Sister, they're falling apart. Just send the money. End this. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the cracked linoleum. For years, reputation had ruled everything. Our dinners were staged, smiles rehearsed, voices cautious because of what the neighbors might say. Now threat of public shame gnawed at them harder than the fear of losing a roof. Then it landed. This had never been about survival. It had always been about image. Without my money maintaining the lie, their mask was slipping. The motel TV hummed in the background. My phone vibrated again, and this time I let it. I pictured their house, that precious fortress of theirs, suddenly quiet, an echoing silence in the rooms. The same silence they'd used to punish me for years. Now they hear it too, I whispered. A new notification, an email from the bank, copied to me as a co-signer from years ago. Subject line, final warning, account in default. My chest tightened, but it wasn't guilt. It was a crystalline clarity. The unraveling was not a threat anymore. It was happening. I closed the message and sent one last text to my sister. Tell them the mortgage was never mine to carry. They made it my chain. Now I've cut it. Sent. I lay back on the motel pillow, watched the water stains above me, and felt something inside loosen, a strange, foreign relief edged with heat. But I knew their silence wouldn't hold. They never stopped fighting. When they struck back, I'd be ready with more than money. 2 days later, a stiff envelope slid under my door. a letter from their lawyer. My stomach dropped as I ripped it open. Inside, demands, accusations, charges of abandoning familial duty. Legal arsenals they thought would make me collapse like before. I sat on the thin carpet, papers scattered, the AC humming. For a moment the old fear crept in, cornered, blamed, erased. Then I noticed the detail they'd missed. The mortgage wasn't only in my name. It was theirs. My transfers had been voluntary. Each payment was proof of generosity, not legal obligation. I called the bank myself, voice steady. The officer confirmed it. You're not responsible. You've been covering their debt, but legally it's theirs. Her words felt like iron lifting from my chest. That night the phone lit up not with insults, but with pleading. Mom's voicemail trembled. Noelle, we didn't mean it. Please, we can't lose the house. You know we love you. Love doesn't show up only when the lights go out, I thought. Love doesn't scream problem or right don't come back. Love doesn't vanish the moment money stops. I typed carefully. I gave you years of my life, my savings, my silence. You turned it into chains. Now the chains are broken. I hope you learn how to stand without me. Sent. The phone rang again. I let it go. Dawn was coming. Golden light poured through the motel curtains. A bird landed on the railing and sang into the new morning, careless and free. I smiled because for the first time I heard myself in its song. This wasn't revenge, it was reclamation. A quiet justice that needed no noise, only truth. When the silence finally settled, I understood the house had never been my home. My freedom had been.